Ladies and gentlemen of the media, good morning. The police administration has invited you this morning to state our position on the state of the nation's security, very particularly the threat to our democracy by the age-old and haunting political vigilantism. By political vigilantism, I mean vigilante groups that belong to political parties and are responsible for illegal activities perpetuated in the name of the parties. The Ghana Police Service is undergoing a robust transformation in the history with a vision to become a world-class police organization capable of delivering a planned, protective, democratic, and peaceful services up to the standards of international best practice. We want to nip violent behaviors in the bud before they become a concern to all of us. The police, since the unfortunate election-related violence on the 31st of January 2019, that is the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election, we have decided to work extra hard, but in silence, towards finding a lasting solution to this recurrent menace. This approach was to allow space for Ghanaians, government, civil society groups, the media, international community, as well as all necessary stakeholders in our democracy to do what they think can be done to stop this growing menace we call political vigilantism. The police is responsible for enforcing the law, and we will not shirk our responsibility against political violence. The police is encouraged by the position of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, when he stated in an address to the National House of Chiefs in Kumasi that his government will tackle the menace of vigilantism head-on. He reiterated his determination to walk the path of making reality the principle of the rule of law, the idea of equality of every citizen before the law. He concluded by saying that wrongdoers wear no political color. When we talk about political vigilantism, the police administration, from our first Ghanaian police chief, Mr. E.R.T. Majite, through one of our most respected Inspectors General of Police, Mr. Peter Namfuri, during President Jerry Rawlings' regime, to myself, have all struggled to curb it, and the results show that we either need to do more or do something different. To contextualize vigilantism and violence in our body politic, it is important to note that it reared its ugly head even before independence. We can recall the action troopers and the action groupers of the UP and the CPP parties respectively. It has since taken many shapes and sizes over the period, but let me zero in on the subject matter under the Fourth Republic anchored by the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. From 1992, we have had political party vigilante groups creating violence and mayhem on intra and or inter-party lines. I can recall a few vigilante groups that are said to be affiliated to the two major political parties, NDC and MPP, in the country. The Hawks, NDC, the Dragons, NDC, Bazooka Boys, NDC, Neto Forces, NDC, Azoka Boys, NDC. And when you come to the MPP, we have the Bamba Boys, MPP, Bolga Bulldogs, MPP, Kandahar Boys, Invisible Forces, MPP, and Delta Force, MPP. Political parties over the past 25 years have had reasons to complain about the actions of their own party vigilante groups. The public have lamented over the activities of these politically created thorns in our democratic flesh, which is not, if not halted, is gradually becoming our defined political culture. This cannot and should not be allowed to be our definition of democracy. Violence and political tertiary is an unfortunate introduction in our democratic space. The terror unleashed by some vigilante groups has been experienced in all our elections from the inception of Fourth Republic. The truth is that if you prescribe a security solution to a politically motivated problem, you may only be reducing the pain, but not curing the disease. That is how come the police from independence have had to battle with this problem, which has grown into an issue. The police administration is glad in noticing that Ghanaians, as well as the international community, have condemned the violence unleashed on some citizens in this country in all election-related violence. The collective condemnation has given police some impetus to begin to think afresh, knowing that the public will stand with police in enforcing the law without fear or favor. Policing by consent is a strong and principal policing principle, and we do believe that when the axe falls without consideration of which political party a person belongs to, the people of Ghana will stand with us. The problem of vigilantism has two faces: politics and security. We are not here to prescribe political solutions. Let those within the political arena be held responsible for that. We are here to talk about a renewed security approach to dealing with political violence. We want to appeal to all political parties to immediately denounce their own vigilante groups, to create the necessary awareness that will embolden the police. Furthermore, if any political party intends to create new vigilante groups, we appeal for a reversal of such intention. This battle is national in character, and we need all hands on deck. The police are poised to arrest and profile any group of people claiming to be vigilante groups, irrespective of their political affiliation. The entire police administration is worried about the ease with which we politicize criminality to win the sympathies of political party supporters. Violence that breaches the peace, causes harm to innocent citizens, and sometimes death in the name of politics will no longer be tolerated in our security setting. We are declaring zero tolerance against political violence and vigilantism. Friends from the media, I do not intend to make a long statement. All that the police administration wants you to convey to Ghanaian people, as well as every person who matters, is this: vigilante groups are illegal. There are only two groups of security recognized in the country: the state security, and I'm happy my good brother is here, the CDS, and the private security industry. The police will do our bit and advise all to desist from using the police as a soft target in pouring blame. Let each of us ask ourselves what we can do to ensure that this menace is kept once and for all. Security, we all know, in our current democratic setting is a collective responsibility. Do your part and support the state law enforcement agency, the police to do our part, and Ghana, our beloved country, will remain the icon of Africa's democracy. Ghana belongs to all of us, and we opted for multi-party democracy as our preferred form of governance. Let us guide against complacency in our effort to defend the 1992 Constitution of the Republic. We must unite against recklessness, vandalism, and vigilantism in defense of our democratic principles. Political vigilantism is illegal. The police and other security agencies will not condone it. Our vision, as earlier stated, to be a world-class police organization respecting democratic principles and human rights is intact. I thank you for your attention.
My name is Daniel Nilate from Star FM. Mr. IGP, some Ghanaians, including former track boss Emil Short, has suggested that the appointment of the IGP in Ghana should be detached from the executive and, to that extent, the president. He says that this would shield the IGP from any undue political influence, since the president who appoints the IGP became president on the ticket of political parties who tend to form these vigilantes. What is your take on this?
Thank you, Daniel Nilate from Star FM. Peter Adato from TV3.
Good morning. Mr. IGP, in your presentation, a lot of Ghanaians are expecting to hear something detailed about the Ayawaso West Wuogon incident. It didn't capture very well what is happening in that incident. We want to know about how the kidnapping and other things were tabled for us. We need to know what exactly is the situation in that case. Additionally, the president has oftentimes said, I have given my all support for the IGP to go out and get the vigilante groups. But every time the thing goes on and the IGP is not acting, why is the IGP not able to act to get the vigilante groups who acted to disturb the peace in Ghana? Why is the IGP or the police service not able to go in there, grab them, and deal with them as the president, the commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, has commanded? Thank you.
Big people in the police service like COP Kofi Boachi, ACP Dr. Benjamin Agojo, have really linked the menace of vigilantism to the appointment of persons like the IGP, etc. So I want to ask, what do you think or say about the police architecture as it stands now? Secondly, recently, in the wake of the Ayawaso West Wuogon demonstration, the NDC, the largest opposition party, demonstrated hugely in Accra, and they called for the resignation of the IGP to allow for investigations to go on. Will you resign and allow for investigations into that violence to go on? And thirdly, my last question, with the increasing rate of murder, armed robbery, kidnap, etc., etc., people have suggested that Ghana is in a state of insecurity. And will you share in that very suggestion? Thank you very much.
I think the first question had something to do with my appointment as an IGP, and that it is the president that appoints me, so perhaps I am accountable to the president. And I want to say emphatically that all police officers, including me, are accountable to the law of this country and to the people. As for my appointment, it is an entrenched position within the Constitution. And if anybody should stand anywhere to disagree with that, then I think we should start lobbying Parliament for a constitutional review or amendment, because it is stated that the President shall appoint the Inspector General of Police in consultation with the Council of State. I do not have any influence in that. I don't think you have either. So that is to the first question. Then the second one is Ayawaso Wogon, which I will ask that we defer it in the meantime because of the commission's work, which is ongoing, so that we don't preempt anything. But we know that an incident occurred, which the president has set up a commission of inquiry, chaired by the Honorable Emil Short. Yes, action taken on vigilantism. The Ghana Police Service, I know you all know we have a mandate, a constitutional mandate, to protect life and property, to prevent crime, and then the detection of crime. We apprehend offenders and we prosecute them, and we make sure we maintain law and order. That is our mandate. And if you recall, or if you have never heard from us, we have had many of these vigilante cases in the past, especially last year. And you may want to know what action did the police take. In Tema, on the 12th of December 2016, there was an alleged youth of MPP who took over the Tema Motorway toll booth. The police responded swiftly, and the group fled on seeing the police, leaving the money behind. Law and order was restored, but we couldn't get witnesses who could enable us arrest those people. In the Ashanti region, on the 13th of December 2016, 2 persons believed to be NPP supporters seized toilet facilities within Kumasi Metropolis. We heard it, no report was made to the police. The situation remained calm. 9th January 2017, a policeman called ASP Nankabrus at the Flagstaff House, assaulted by Invisible Forces member. The complainant submitted a withdrawal letter. In the Western region, 1st January 2017, NPP youth in Bode district besieged and locked up Office of National Health Insurance in the area. The chiefs and elders of the place intervened and resolved the issue. A letter to that effect was sent to the police. In Greater Accra, Amasaman constituency, the Amasaman constituency chairman of NPP attacked police officer on duty at Pobiman toll booth. The person was arrested and docket prepared. The police officer later submitted a withdrawal letter citing family and other pressure. In the Eastern region, NPP supporters took over public toilet in the Koforidua. The New Drabi Municipal Assembly stepped in and took over the case, and then calm was restored, and nothing happened subsequently. In the Northern region, MPP's Kandahar Boys Torment Tamale Teaching Hospital CEO. Police intervened and took custody of the keys in the place. The place now functioning smoothly with no other incident. In Ashanti region, MPP Delta Force attacks Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator. The persons were arrested for escaping lawful custody and having attacked the judge. They were fined on an assault on the circuit court judge. The Attorney General advised police to conduct further investigations on the assault of the circuit court judge. The Invisible Forces attacked school feeding caterers in Atebubu. This case is under investigation. Invisible Forces in Koforidua allegedly locked up the Eastern Regional NHIS office. The police responded swiftly. Perpetrators left the scene when they saw the police approaching. Calm restored. In Ashanti region, the Delta Force storms court to set suspects free. 13 suspects sent to court, convicted and fined. The place is calm. NPP youth clash with police in Savalugu over MCE's position. RECSEC intervened. Calm restored. In the northern region, supporters of NPP stopped construction work on the Yendi-Bimbila section of Eastern Corridor roads, demanding employment. Construction company employed the NPP supporters, and calm was restored. In Ashanti region, the NPP youth stormed Ashanti Regional Metro Mass Transit bus. Security provided, and no attack occurred. Situation is back to normal. In the Greater Accra, the NPP invisible forces threatened chaos over jobs. Threat issued on air, no attack occurred. In Tema, NPP invisible forces threatened chaos over joblessness. Threat issued on air. The police regional commander was contacted. The MCA handled the case and calm was restored. NPP youth in Tamale locked up the Northern Regional Secretariat of School Feeding Program. Police reopened the secretariat and no incident occurred. Calm restored. The NPP youth locked up school feeding office in Tamale. No report was made. We heard about it. Place is calm. NPP youth stormed police station in Karaga, says suspects free. Police station and the district assembly offices secured. The case is before court. The chairman of the NPP and 3 others are the accused persons. Upper West, Sisala West DC locked up by angry NPP youth. That's Golu. 7 suspects remanded by Wa Magistrate Court. Case pending before court. Tema invisible forces attack Adan East Assembly members. No arrest made. Medical form issued to some members of the assembly. Report made to the police. Case under investigation. NPP supporters plan to storm and take over one of the main transport terminal at Kufor Station in Nashaman. Swift intervention of the police averted any clash. Situation is still closely monitored. So it goes on and on. In all cases, we respond adequately to prevent any mayhem. And if suspects are arrested, they are put before court. Thank you. Yeah, somebody is asking for my resignation so investigations can go on. I don't think my resignation or my being the IGP can stall any investigation in this country. It is when the investigation has been done and presented to the Attorney General's department for advice, Attorney General may require us to do something further. And so the investigation cannot be influenced by me as an IGP. Then you said there are so many cases of kidnapping and homicide cases. Yes, in getting to the end of 2018 and early 2019, perhaps we have seen some high-profile cases, and that has drawn the attention or the concern of many to thinking that crime is on ascendancy. And I must assure you that the country is calm. Thank you.
Recently, a certain general secretary of a party came out to say that they have formed the Hawks. The police could not invite him for questioning. Some of them even come on air. I mean, the vigilante groups, they come on air and say that we are going to do A, B, C, D. Nobody invites them for questioning. So I want to know why you are going to draw your strength as it were, because if the political heads say, my brother, stop, I think you are going to stop. So I don't know how you're going to, I don't know why you're going to see parliamentary approval or legal backing before you can embark on that exercise. My second question, the kidnapper in the Takoradi case came out to say that he was aided to escape lawful custody by a CID personnel. We have not heard from the police service what has been happening to that CID man, and his name hasn't been mentioned. I don't know whether you have denied or confirmed the report by the kidnapper. So I want to find out from the police service. Thank you very much.
One is about the non-release of actions taken against bad nuts in the police service. The police service, like any other department of state, the media and the like, we have bad nuts. Here and there, problems crop up. We are told investigations are ongoing regarding the alleged misdemeanor. We don't hear anything again. That is affecting confidence in the establishment. We appreciate the role being played by law enforcement agents in this country and would do our best to support. We continue to do so. We also find out that access to commanders is not as easy as it looks. This hinders the ability of informants to reach out with vital information. And this, I think, is affecting our efforts to get these so-called kidnappers and so on and so forth. This calls for the introduction of basic PR in the training of recruits and officers. There are a few, I won't say many, unfriendly policemen. It makes it difficult to meet them and tell them when we have information which would help in the enhancement of law enforcement in the country. Thank you so much.
Good morning, I'm Nana Kwesi Yampofo from Oman FM. On the issue of kidnapping, as we speak, there is a ongoing press conference going on at Diabene in the Western region, whereby the families of the kidnapped victims has given the police up to February 22 this year that if you don't come out to tell them anything, they will embark on a demonstration termed boot for boot. What is the IGP's message to this family as the press conference is ongoing as we speak? To my second question, recently, Director General of Special Duties, COP David Nenye Ampa Benin, arrested some armed robbers whereby a police officer was involved. Please, how far have you gone with that story? Thank you.
My name is George Olsen Vinay. I report for Pan African Television. Okay. Quick one. Mr. IGP, will you subscribe to the many who are calling for the men we saw in some videos or in the news during the Ayawaso West Wuogon by-election, that if we have such men in the police service or armed the way they were armed, can we deploy them to help in terms of finding these 3 girls of our dear ones in the Takoradi? Also, one would also like to know the current state of your personnel in terms of their living condition. Thank you very much.
The first question of political vigilantes being formed by political parties, where my minister is also a member of one of them, and therefore how am I able to fight against political vigilantism? I think that was a question in a nutshell. And I want to say that in my speech, I stated where we were coming from and what we are going to do differently. And I stated it emphatically that there was an appeal to these political parties to denounce the vigilante groups. And then also any groupings who refer to themselves as vigilantes belonging to any parties. If they are found out, what we'll do is that we're going to profile them and we'll continue from there. We'll invite them for questioning and we'll do our profile of these groups. So this is something that we are going to do new. Yes, the kidnapper that in the case of the Takoradi missing girls, there was this allegation of a CID man aiding the kidnapper to escape from custody. And an investigation is ongoing. Do not know whether the Director of Public Affairs Department has put this thing out already. So there's an ongoing investigation into that matter. Alhaji, on our police standards, you were asking for statistics.
No. I was asking about management of relationships.
Yes, I'll come to that. But I thought you were talking about, yes. Management of this relationship so that people will have easy access to commanders. Yes, it is true. We have also noted that and come to even realize that the communication between the police and the public has become more important than even our going about, our arrests made and so many other things. This is the way to win the confidence of the people so that we can have a very friendly police officers who the public will be very free to come to and then tell them, give them every information that they have. So it is a priority on our agenda for this particular year, but communication, how we communicate with the public. I have experienced some because it's not every police officer who knows me. And if I'm driving by myself, I also do encounter such things. It is very, very important, and thank you for your observation. Then Diabene, most of the time we talk about somebody has been kidnapped. Even when we have not heard his or her voice. If the person is missing, we'll call it kidnapping. If the person has been abducted by his boyfriend, we still refer to it as kidnapping. So the Diabene people, if they have made a complaint to the police, they shouldn't give us some timelines, but rather they should cooperate with us. Perhaps the person is even missing. The person has traveled somewhere without telling the parents. We need time to do these investigations. It is not as if in Ghana we are unable to unravel kidnapping cases. That is not the case. I returned from South Africa recently, and it is the case everywhere, and we don't know. Sometimes I keep wondering whether we are comparing ourselves with a certain country, but if we try to do that, we may be a bit comfortable with our situation. I'm not saying that we are complacent, but we do our best under the circumstance to manage crime in this country. And if you look at the graph, we haven't done badly at all. There are places in a year you have 83,000 homicide cases. We record sometimes 500, 400. Somebody was calling for people who went to Ayawaso to be assigned to go and look for these girls. I mean, please, this is a joke. So, at least said about it well. Thank you.
These ladies who will force the police service to go and look for them in the name of being kidnapped, resources have been channeled into this. And then they are being seen with their boyfriends. What has been done to them to serve as a deterrent to them? Because if not so, we will continue to be with our boyfriends, and then we'll let the police force or service be looking for us. And then the last one is, don't we think that how to get knife in Ghana is becoming rampant? Because if I have the money, I can just go and then buy the gun. People have guns they've not even registered. And then they are doing all sorts of things with it. So we should also look at that one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Joshua Nana Kwame with GH1 TV. Of course, my first question has been, we've asked a couple of questions on the vigilante groups. We're talking about political vigilante groups. Now, Mr. IGP, you made mention that the dissolution of these groups should be with all immediacy as a matter of urgency. We didn't get from you the timeline as to when or what should be the period, if we are going to see that in the first quarter, or if political parties who fail to do so this is what will be the sanctions will be meted out to them. Also, with what some school of thought describe as a crime evolution, I mean something that has the crime trend has taken a trend or a sophisticated trend. The public, or most part of the general public, have lost a bit of interest or trust for the police service. For some saying that since the police are not ensuring our safety or protecting our lives, we are actually going to take the law into our own hands. What would be your word to the public as a matter of rest assuring them as far as trust is concerned? Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Anas Seidu. I report for CTFM and CTTV. We talked about vigilantism, but I think one form of vigilantism that is growing, that we haven't taken notice of, is land guard activities within the Greater Accra region and the Central region. For instance, just yesterday, we did a news report around the OEB Adenta area, and people who had their properties built completely had them demolished by private people with the help of land guards. Somebody had his cinema that he was operating. It was demolished by land guards with a bulldozer. According to them, allegedly, they reported to the police. These guys were arrested. 3 days, they were back on, and the bulldozer was given to them. Has that come to the notice of the Accra Regional Command and the Central Regional Command? Because this is happening at OEB, Adenta area, and Kaswa. Has that come to the command notice, and what are they doing about it? Land guard activities. Secondly, recently the wife of the late J.B. Dankwa posted on her Facebook wall, marking the 3rd anniversary of the demise of her husband. And in there, she lamented about the processes leading to the conviction of the suspect in her husband's murder. But she also made a point alleging that some senior CID officers who are actually investigating the case have allegedly assaulted her sexually. I don't know whether that has come to the notice of the hierarchy of the police and what they are doing about it. Because he talked about them questioning her whether she wears beads, whether...
Yeah, we are aware of that. So
okay, so let's talk about Nam1. We know he's not in the country. There was a joint statement by the police and Yoko about him appearing before court some time ago. What is the state of that particular investigation as we speak now? And
I think I'll give you the last, and that question should be framed in one sentence, straight to the point. Okay.
Okay, Lance Corporal Frederick Amano, the police officer involved in the Midlands case. The court discontinued the case for want of prosecution. The lawyer of the victim accused the police of orchestrating a plan to have the case thrown out of court. We've not heard the police response to that. What has come of the officer? Has he been reinstated? Oh, thank you.
Question was about weapons being sold in the street and whether it has come to our notice or not. Yes, we know weapons, offensive weapons in particular. If you have a criminal using a weapon, it takes away any interaction between his target and himself. So you easily give away whatever you have. And these days, you can even use, in our reports, we do encounter criminals using scissors to rob people. But it is not a crime to sell scissors in the street. Knives may be an offensive weapon, but it has not been stated in our laws or profiled as an offensive weapon, because we use the knives in our kitchens, other places. So if you have seen somebody selling knives in the streets, you, the policeman, cannot arrest such a person. But if it's a weapon, like a firearm, yes. the law empowers us to take that particular action. Then the other person spoke about the trust in the police service, and it goes on the airwaves. What is sad is that when you hear very top officials saying this, it's so sad. I mean, our criminal statistics show. But if you hear people saying it, instead of them encouraging the police to do their work, then you send very wrong signals to the people. Perhaps we have to do something different to encourage the people that they should have trust in the police service that they have. We are you and you are us, you know, and this is the police service that we have. And we continue to manage crime in this country. Before I come to land guards, maybe some regional commanders who are in the thick of affairs will come to respond to that. Dr. J.B. Dankwa's wife and her allegation, yes, we all heard about it. We read about it in the newspapers. And we have set up an investigative unit, a committee to investigate that matter. In fact, she's already been spoken to by one of our commissioners to invite her, and she's given us a time to come. So it's an ongoing investigation. On Namwan's case, as you may be aware, it is Yoko who is investigating the Namwan case. They consulted the CID when it came to the repatriation of Namwan into Ghana. We have to use the Interpol channels. So if you saw it in the newspapers, there was a release signed by the public affairs officer of Yoko and that of the police. So this is where we come in as far as Namwan is concerned.
As the regional commander for Accra region, this OEB incident hasn't come to my notice. So I thank you for the information that you have just given. After this program, I will find out from the OEB district commander about the event. But let me also say that there are a lot of court cases which involves demolition of buildings, projects, whatever, on people's lands. So we keep waiting until when the bailiffs are ready for the exercise to take off. Then they come, we give them policemen, they go out and do the demolition exercise on the orders of the court. I don't know whether this is one of such exercises, so I need to find out. Whatever it is, I'll let you have information on it. But so far, on land guard general in Accra, the situation has improved. A lot of them have been advised to take, in respect of cases where two people or more people are claiming ownership of the land, you advise them to settle their differences in the court of law. We are much interested in criminal aspects or cases associated with their controversy. But as to who owns the land, who is the proper owner to have the land, we always advise them that we will not determine for them. They will ask them, go to the court, have whatever differences that are between the two of you resolved. But cases like he has gone to demolish my land, and when the complaint comes, we will deal with the causing damage aspect of the case. Because we are not in a position to determine who owns the land, you will not go there, but determine the criminal aspect that is attached to the land. Thank you very much.
It looks like you don't have an artist for coming out of impressions of suspected criminals. This is a big minus. I recently heard you were looking for somebody to come and do such a job. I think you have to take it up. It's very serious. I mean, in crime management, you need to employ artists to do this, especially since we can't even go to court to take pictures and so on and so forth. So I think take it up. Thanks.
The talking about a cartographer, somebody who can sketch images of suspected criminals. Yes. Already, what we are doing now, we are engaging some cartographers. Normally, we call it identikit, and other electronic ones that also can be used. We are already in link with some specialists or experts helping us in this direction. So that is for your information.
Sometimes you see a criminal being pursued by an officer, and then you see the public rather to go into the favor of the criminal, instead of helping the police service to arrest such criminals from our society, because they are family members and people who feed them in one way or the other. You see them defending those criminals. It turned out to be that he was a person who had been doing those ill against them. What is the police doing now, to bring the police to the public and the public to the police? I think that will do. And secondly, mostly you see an officer on duty wherever he finds himself, and there will be a crime be perpetrated. The person feels uncontrolled, and he will call on the police, boss, please, he's robbing me or something. The officer may not even turn up to support the person or in any way. And one thing I've heard is that it's not my duty. I've not been called. If I go and anything happens, my boss will ask me, why did you go there? I didn't send you to go there. But once you are in the uniform, we know you're a security officer, and you must be able, to give security and protection to any individual or this country. Thank you.
Mr. IGP, I wanted to find out, you asked the political parties to denounce the vigilante groups, but you didn't state that they should be disbanded. And so I want a little clarification on that. And if you are stating that they should be disbanded, what is the timeline to it?
Yes, I think this is a second question on the time frame. In my statement, I made an appeal, and I also stated the mandate of the Ghana Police Service. In making an appeal, I am telling the political parties, I did mention that it has some security connotations and political. The security aspect is when their activities result in any unlawful act, we respond swiftly, and you can see from the number of cases that I enumerated. But if these things are not created, they may not result in any crimes for us to even respond. So this was an appeal to the political parties to denounce the formation and the maintenance of vigilante groups. So that point, I think, should be clear now. Yes, I also forgot to mention about some of the programs that we have started already. But this year, we are going to lay more emphasis. That is the citizen-friendly education of the police service. This is being sponsored by the European Union, and it's going on successfully. I'm hoping that our transformation is not going to come overnight. We've given ourselves some time. When we started, I think we were ranked 10 in Africa. Now we've moved to 8th. So gradually, we are getting to where we wanted ourselves to be. Thank you.
The IGP, the Deputy IGP, and members of the police administration gathered here. I first would like to thank the Inspector General of Police for this kind invitation to be part of this program. I think it is a very great initiative. The IGP's statement was crisp and to the point. The presentation was clear and lucid. And we, as an armed force, I wish to state that we stand foursquare behind the Ghana Police in its efforts at maintaining law and order. Therefore, we will continue to operate with them jointly, as we've been doing. carried out a number of operations, Operation Calm Life, Operation Gong Gong, and other operations, and it's been going on very, very well. And we want to reiterate that we will continue to operate jointly with them as part of our secondary role as an armed force. Because without the peace and security of this nation, development, as you know, cannot take place. We also back 100% the statement of the IGP, especially on his zero tolerance against political vigilantism. I think it is a very great and bold initiative, because those who are engaged in these acts execute security protocols without legal authority. And it is an affront to our law and order in this country. Finally, as citizens, we are all mandated under Article 41 of the Constitution to cooperate with the security agencies to ensure that law and order is maintained at all times so that we can live in peace and harmony. We appreciate the contributions and the questions of members of the media, and I hope at the next opportunity, similar sentiments will be expressed, suggestions will be made to move forward the security agenda of this country and the peace and security of Ghana. On that note, IGP, deputy members, thank you very much, and God bless us all. Thank you.